Welcome to AppleKnows channel. I am the Apple and today I will take you into a world of shocking archaeological discoveries that sound almost impossible to believe yet they are completely real. Imagine holding history in your hand, but instead of it being a stone tool or a clay pot, it is something that rewrites everything we thought we knew. That is the kind of journey we are going on right now. Let me start with a story from Turkey. Deep beneath the soil lies Göbekli Tepe, a site that is over 11,000 years old. This is thousands of years older than Stonehenge or the pyramids of Egypt. What makes it shocking is that it was built by people who were supposed to be simple hunter-gatherers. Massive stone pillars, carved with animals, stand arranged in perfect circles. How could people without metal tools or even farming knowledge create such a place? It suggests that civilization started far earlier than history books told us. Now imagine walking into a tomb in China and finding something that looks too advanced for its time. That is what happened in the mausoleum of the first Qin emperor. Archaeologists discovered the famous terracotta army, thousands of life-sized warriors buried to protect the emperor in the afterlife. But here is the shocking part: fragments of chrome plating were found on some of the weapons. Chrome plating was thought to be a modern invention from the 20th century, yet the ancient Chinese were already using techniques that prevented rust over 2,000 years ago. In the deserts of Peru lies another mystery that continues to shock. The Nazca Lines, enormous geoglyphs of animals, shapes, and lines etched into the earth, visible only from the sky. They were made around 500 BC to 500 AD, long before humans had aircraft. How and why they created figures that can only be seen in full form from above remains a puzzle. Some believe they were astronomical calendars, others think they were rituals to call for water in the desert. No matter the explanation, standing beside them you only see endless lines stretching into the horizon, but from the air a giant monkey, a spider, or a hummingbird suddenly appears. And then there is the Antikythera Mechanism found in a shipwreck off the coast of Greece. At first it looked like a lump of corroded bronze, but when studied carefully, it revealed a system of gears so precise it is called the world's first computer. Built over 2,000 years ago, it could predict eclipses, track planetary movements, and show lunar phases. Imagine sailors in the ancient world having access to a mechanical device that could map the heavens with accuracy. It is so advanced that nothing like it would appear again for over 1,000 years. Another shocking discovery happened in Egypt. In the Great Pyramid of Giza, using modern scanning technology, researchers found hidden voids and chambers that had never been entered since the pyramid was built over 4,500 years ago. What lies inside them is still unknown. The idea that one of the most studied monuments in the world still hides untouched secrets waiting to be revealed is almost unbelievable. And here is something even stranger. In South America, archaeologists uncovered skulls that were elongated, not by nature, but intentionally shaped during childhood. Cultures like the Paracas in Peru bound infants' heads to create cone-shaped skulls. Some of these skulls are so extreme that for a long time they were thought to belong to another species. Scientists now believe it was a form of status symbol, but the image of long-headed figures walking among ancient people continues to haunt the imagination. Deep in the sands of Iraq, archaeologists uncovered the ruins of Ur, one of the world's oldest cities. Within it they found something that shocked historians: the royal tombs, dating back over 4,500 years. What made them unsettling was not just the treasures buried there but the people. Whole groups of servants and guards were buried alive alongside their rulers, arranged in neat rows, as if death was simply another duty. It paints a chilling picture of how powerful and absolute ancient rulers were, and how deeply belief in the afterlife shaped real human lives. In Bolivia lies Tiwanaku, a mysterious ancient city near Lake Titicaca. Massive stone blocks, some weighing over 100 tons, were fitted together with such precision that even a razor blade cannot pass between them. The shocking part is that these stones were quarried miles away and somehow transported across rugged terrain with no wheels and no draft animals strong enough to carry them. Some blocks even feature perfectly drilled holes and geometric cuts, as if made with advanced tools. The unanswered question is how such precision engineering was achieved thousands of years ago. Then there is the case of Otzi the Iceman, discovered in the Alps in 1991. This 5,300-year-old mummy still had his clothes, tools, and even the remains of his last meal preserved. But the shocking discovery came when scientists scanned his body. He had tattoos placed on points that correspond to acupuncture meridians, thousands of years before acupuncture was thought to exist. Even stranger, his body showed signs of an arrow wound and head trauma, suggesting he may have been murdered. His frozen body is like a time capsule, showing both the advanced knowledge and the brutal dangers of prehistoric life. In the deserts of Egypt, archaeologists discovered something that at first looked ordinary but turned out to be groundbreaking. Papyrus scrolls found in the ancient city of Oxyrhynchus contained fragments of lost works from famous Greek playwrights and historians that had been considered gone forever. The shocking part is that these scrolls were preserved for nearly 2,000 years in what was essentially an ancient garbage dump. Today, researchers are still decoding them, uncovering texts that had vanished from human memory for centuries. And let us not forget the underwater ruins of Yonaguni near Japan. Divers discovered massive stone structures beneath the ocean, staircases, terraces, and what looks like a pyramid. Some argue these formations are natural, but others insist they are the remains of a sunken city that could date back over 10,000 years. If true, it would rewrite the timeline of civilization. Standing underwater among these massive stone blocks, it is hard not to feel that something human once lived there and was swallowed by the sea. In the caves of South Africa, scientists uncovered something that rattled the very foundations of human history. Deep underground, in a chamber nearly impossible to reach, they found the remains of a previously unknown human species called Homo naledi. What makes this shocking is not just the discovery of a new species, but the fact that these beings intentionally buried their dead. Until then, burial rituals were believed to be unique to modern humans. Imagine a small brain species, climbing through darkness to place their dead carefully in a sacred space. It changes the way we think about intelligence, culture, and what it truly means to be human. Far away in the frozen tundra of Siberia, archaeologists found a perfectly preserved woolly mammoth, complete with fur and liquid blood still inside its veins. This animal had been frozen for over 40,000 years, yet its body was so well preserved that scientists considered the possibility of cloning it. Standing face to face with a creature that walked the earth alongside early humans is like staring straight into prehistory, almost as if time had been paused and left waiting beneath the ice. Now let me take you to the mysterious city of Mohenjo-Daro in present-day Pakistan. This ancient settlement of the Indus Valley civilization, nearly 4,500 years old, shocked archaeologists with its advanced urban planning. The city had grid-like streets, drainage systems, and even indoor toilets, a level of sophistication not seen again until centuries later in Rome. But what shocked researchers most was the sudden disappearance of its people. Skeletons were found lying in the streets as if something catastrophic happened overnight, yet there are no signs of war or destruction. Some theories suggest disease, others speak of climate collapse, but the truth remains a haunting mystery. Another stunning discovery happened in Central America. At the ancient Mayan city of Copan, archaeologists uncovered a hieroglyphic staircase with more than 2,000 glyphs, the longest Mayan inscription ever found. It tells the history of kings, wars, and dynasties. What makes this shocking is that it was buried deliberately, hidden from future generations, and only rediscovered centuries later. Imagine entire stories of a civilization, its triumphs and tragedies, locked in stone, waiting in silence until we were ready to uncover them. And then there is the story of the Baghdad Battery. Found in Iraq, this small clay jar with a copper cylinder inside is believed by some researchers to have been an ancient form of battery, dating back nearly 2,000 years. If true, it would mean ancient people had a knowledge of electricity long before it was officially discovered. While skeptics argue it might have been for simple storage or ritual, experiments show that filling it with vinegar or lemon juice can generate a small electrical charge. The idea of ancient civilizations experimenting with electricity is almost unbelievable. In the frozen tundra of Greenland, archaeologists stumbled upon a Viking settlement that should not have been there. The Norse, led by Eric the Red and his followers, established colonies nearly 1,000 years ago in a land of ice. They built churches, farms, and communities, but then, without warning, they vanished. The shocking part is that the settlements show no evidence of a violent end. Instead, the people simply disappeared, leaving behind ruins, tools, and even animal bones that suggest a sudden collapse. Some theories blame climate change, others famine, or even conflict with the Inuit. The image of entire communities vanishing into history without explanation continues to unsettle researchers. In the deserts of Saudi Arabia, massive stone structures called mastodils were discovered, stretching back almost 7,000 years. These rectangular stone enclosures are larger than football fields and built long before Stonehenge. Thousands of them dot the Arabian Peninsula, yet their purpose remains unknown. Some believe they were ritual sites connected to animal sacrifices, others suggest they were markers of territory. What shocks archaeologists most is how such massive projects were built in a land thought to be empty and unorganized so long ago, rewriting the history of early civilizations in Arabia. Another shocking find came from the depths of an ancient well in Jerusalem. Archaeologists discovered a collection of Roman swords, perfectly preserved for nearly 2,000 years. Hidden away by Jewish rebels during the First Jewish Revolt, these weapons were left untouched until our time. The shocking detail is not just their condition, but the story they tell: ordinary men taking up arms against one of the most powerful empires in history, leaving behind silent reminders of defiance that lay in the dark for millennia. Now imagine standing in Mexico and staring at the Pyramid of the Sun in Teotihuacan, a city that thrived long before the Aztecs. Archaeologists discovered miles of underground tunnels beneath the pyramid, lined with offerings of jade, shells, and even pools of liquid mercury. Mercury was believed to represent rivers of the underworld, and its presence suggests that the people of Teotihuacan created a symbolic map of the cosmos beneath their great temples. The shocking part is that the civilization behind this masterpiece left no written record of who they were or why they built such a massive city, leaving us with more questions than answers. Even more puzzling are the Roman dodecahedrons, small bronze objects with 12 flat faces, each with a hole in the middle. Found across Europe, dating back to the 2nd or 3rd century AD, no one knows what they were used for. Some suggest they were tools for measuring distance, others say they were candlesticks or even instruments for fortune-telling. Despite dozens being found, not a single Roman text ever mentions them. These strange geometric objects remain one of archaeology's strangest and most shocking mysteries. In the caves of France, archaeologists found something far more haunting than cave paintings. At Grotte du Chauvet, dating back over 30,000 years, walls are covered with detailed drawings of lions, rhinos, and bears, animals that most people would never imagine early humans could depict with such accuracy. But the shocking part lies deeper in the cave: footprints of a child walking alongside those of a wolf. Was the wolf tamed? Was it following as a companion, or was it hunting the child? It is one of the oldest mysteries of human and animal relationships, frozen in stone for tens of thousands of years. In Egypt, researchers unearthed a papyrus that changed our understanding of pyramid building. Known as the Diary of Mirror, it is the oldest known written record, dating back 4,500 years. This ancient logbook details how limestone blocks were transported by boat along canals to construct the Great Pyramid. The shocking part is that it provides a rare glimpse into the lives of the workers and shows that massive engineering projects were not just myths of slaves, but organized, skilled labor. Even so, many aspects of how the pyramid was built remain unanswered, leaving both science and mystery entwined. Then there is the site of Derinkuyu in Turkey, an underground city carved deep into volcanic rock. Stretching down more than 18 stories, it could house 20,000 people with ventilation shafts, stables, wine presses, and even schools. The shocking detail is that no one knows exactly who built it or why. Some believe it was created as a refuge from invaders, others think it may have been a shelter against natural disasters. Walking through its narrow, dark tunnels feels like stepping into a forgotten world designed for survival. In Peru, high in the Andes, archaeologists uncovered the frozen body of a young girl known as the Ice Maiden. Sacrificed by the Inca over 500 years ago, she was so perfectly preserved that her hair, skin, and even stomach contents remained intact. The shocking part is the story her body tells. She was fed special meals, given coca leaves, and alcohol before her ritual sacrifice on the mountaintop. Her frozen expression is a haunting reminder of the harsh spiritual world of the Inca, where human lives were offered to the gods of the mountains. Another baffling mystery comes from the ancient city of Baalbek in Lebanon. There lies the Stone of the Pregnant Woman, a massive block of stone weighing over 1,000 tons. It is one of the largest stones ever carved by humans, yet it was never moved to its intended place in the temple. The shocking question is how ancient builders could even think of transporting such an enormous block with no modern machinery. Nearby, other stones nearly as large were successfully placed into the temple foundation, leaving us to wonder about lost methods of engineering and strength. On the windswept plains of Siberia, archaeologists discovered the Shigar idol, the world's oldest wooden sculpture, standing over 17 feet tall and dating back at least 12,000 years. It is carved with strange geometric symbols and faces stacked one over another, like spirits gazing through time. What shocks researchers is not just its age older than Stonehenge or the pyramids, but the fact that it carries coded messages we still cannot fully decipher. Some believe it may represent a kind of prehistoric religion or even a map of the universe. The idea that people from the Ice Age created such abstract symbolic art shakes the very foundation of how we view early human intelligence. In the sands of Egypt, the mummy of Pharaoh Ramesses II revealed another shock. When scientists tested his hair, they found traces of red pigment, suggesting that this mighty ruler of Egypt had naturally red hair. Even more surprising, the embalming process used on his body employed techniques so advanced that modern chemists struggled to replicate them. The sophistication of ancient Egyptian preservation methods remains astonishing, keeping bodies intact for thousands of years in a way we still cannot fully match. Moving to the mysterious ruins of Puma Punku in Bolivia, we find giant stone blocks cut with incredible precision. Some feature perfect 90-degree angles, interlocking designs, and drill holes that seem impossible with the primitive tools archaeologists believe were available at the time. The shocking part is not just the size of these stones, some weighing over 100 tons, but the level of detail that resembles modern machine work. How a pre-Incan culture achieved this level of engineering remains unexplained, sparking endless debate among experts. Then there is the case of the Sutton Hoo burial in England. Beneath a grassy mound, archaeologists uncovered a massive ship burial filled with treasures, gold helmets, silverware from Byzantium, and weapons fit for a king. What shocked the world was that it belonged to the so-called Dark Ages, a time once believed to be culturally empty and barbaric. Instead, Sutton Hoo revealed a society of immense wealth, artistry, and far-reaching connections, rewriting how we see that period of history. In the deserts of Jordan, hidden for centuries, the city of Petra still amazes with its monumental facades carved straight into cliffs. But archaeologists recently uncovered something even more shocking beneath its sands, a massive platform larger than a football field, hidden just below the surface. This discovery proves that even one of the most studied ancient cities in the world still hides monumental secrets, waiting quietly to be uncovered. And perhaps one of the strangest mysteries comes from ancient footprints. In Litoli, Tanzania, scientists found footprints preserved in volcanic ash over 3.5 million years old, belonging to early human ancestors. They walked upright, side by side, leaving behind evidence of family or companionship. Yet in other parts of the world, there are so-called out-of-place footprints that appear to be millions of years old and look astonishingly human, though their authenticity is debated. If even a fraction of these controversial finds are true, they would shatter everything we thought we knew about human evolution. Beneath the streets of Rome lies a world few dare to imagine. The Roman catacombs stretch for hundreds of miles, tunnels carved into soft rock where early Christians buried their dead. But the shocking discoveries are not just bones. Paintings on the walls depict biblical scenes older than any found in churches above ground. Even stranger, archaeologists found skeletons with coins placed in their mouths, an echo of the pagan belief in paying the ferryman to cross into the afterlife. The fusion of two belief systems inside these dark passageways shows how deeply death shaped culture, even in one of the greatest empires of history. Far across the world, on Easter Island, lie the famous Moai statues, massive stone heads gazing silently toward the horizon. For centuries, people believed they were just heads, but excavations revealed that most of these figures actually have full bodies buried beneath the earth, carved with intricate designs and symbols. The shocking part is how these enormous statues, some weighing over 80 tons, were transported across the island without wheels or beasts of burden. The collapse of Easter Island society, once filled with ingenuity, is a chilling warning of what happens when humans overexploit their environment. In Greece, archaeologists uncovered a tomb in Amphipolis so massive it was once thought to be the resting place of Alexander the Great. Inside, they found statues of sphinxes, walls painted with vibrant frescoes, and human remains. The shocking part is that the scale and grandeur of the tomb surpass many royal burials of the ancient world, yet the identity of the person buried there remains a mystery. Some argue it belonged to a powerful general or family member of Alexander, but no proof has yet been found. The silence of history around such a monumental site is as shocking as the discovery itself. From the depths of Guatemala comes another disturbing story. At the Mayan city of Chichen Itza, a sacred cenote, an enormous natural sinkhole, was found filled with human remains, jewelry, and offerings. It was used for sacrifices, where people, often children, were thrown alive into the water to appease the gods. When divers first descended, they pulled up hundreds of skulls, bones, and artifacts, confirming the scale of ritual killings. The idea that one of the world's most celebrated ancient civilizations relied on such brutal practices is a reminder of how differently our ancestors viewed life and death. One of the most chilling finds in archaeology comes from Pompeii. When Mount Vesuvius erupted in 79 AD, it buried the Roman city in ash and pumice. Centuries later, excavations revealed bodies frozen in their last moments, people covering their faces, lovers embracing, animals collapsing in terror. Plaster casts filled the voids left by decomposed bodies, creating lifelike statues of death. The shocking preservation gives us not just objects, but human emotions, terror immortalized for nearly 2,000 years. It is archaeology at its most intimate and disturbing. And in the Andes Mountains of South America, archaeologists uncovered strange elongated skulls in tombs belonging to the Paracas culture. Some were shaped intentionally through head binding, but others had features so extreme they sparked controversy: larger cranial capacity, different bone structures, and unusual DNA results that scientists still debate. While many argue they are human skulls deliberately modified, the shocking appearance of these remains continues to stir both science and speculation. And so, as the Apple of AppleKnows channel, I leave you with this. Archaeology is not just about dusting off bones or digging up broken pottery, it is about confronting truths that shake the foundations of what we thought we knew. Each shocking discovery reminds us that history is not a straight line, but a vast web of brilliance, cruelty, mystery, and ingenuity. From hidden chambers in pyramids to forgotten cities underground, from ritual sacrifices to technologies ahead of their time, the past whispers that we have only scratched the surface. And perhaps, the most unsettling thought of all is this: if so much lies buried still, what other truths wait silently beneath our feet, ready to change everything we believe about humanity forever?